Ladies and gentlemen, welcome yet again to another great episode of Bahrain Now. I'm your host, Khalid Hijris, here to walk you through our exciting lineup of segments and personalities from around the Kingdom of Bahrain. So stay tuned and we'll be back with more. The Bahraini dentist Dr. Layal Abbas Al Fardan won the first prize for the best case for treating maxillofacial deformities in the Middle East Aesthetic Dentistry Awards 2024, which was held recently in the UAE. Among 150 dentists from 25 countries participated in the competition. The Bahraini dentist's dedication towards the excellence paved the way to achieve such an astounding achievement. And to talk more about that, we are pleased to be joined here at the studio by Dr. Layal herself. Welcome, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, how about you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Now, first of all, this is no small achievement, so we'd like to congratulate you so much on it. You're very welcome. And how do you feel about this accomplishment?
I feel very ecstatic, honestly. I was very surprised at the support that I've received from my family, my friends, my colleagues in the dental field here and abroad, from the country. I mean, Bahrain has been so heartwarmingly supportive over the last week, and that's felt amazing. But personally, I'd like to thank a few, our leadership, honestly, for trying to encourage us and nurturing our achievements. I'd like to thank and express my gratitude to His Majesty the King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, to His Excellency Crown Prince Sheikh Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa. I'd like to express my gratitude to the personal messages and letters I've received from the Ministry of Health, from Her Excellency Dr. Jalila bint Sayyid Jawad, and from Dr. Nawaf Al Hamar personally, from the Supreme Court of Women. Everybody has been extremely supportive, so thank you to everybody, honestly.
It's really great to see that all of your hard work is not only being acknowledged by, but also fostered by, our leadership and experts in the field as well. So, I mean, again, congratulations, and what a great way to receive all of that praise. Now, I'm sure that this is the product of a lot of hard work. So what can you tell us about your journey towards this achievement? How much effort and what did it look like preparing for this?
I mean, honestly, because of the nature of this competition, it wasn't about going through the competition. It's about years of hard work, of education, reading, scientific literature, doing a lot of different things to get to a point where I can say I'm very comfortable treating patients and putting their needs first. So this comes up first. So at the point where I actually submitted my case for this award, it was back in August of 2024, and I had already been working on this case for over a year. So the hard work in terms of visiting labs, a lot of hours of treatment planning, discussions with the patient, a lot of clinical hours with the patient, and the discussions, which are extremely important, have led to finishing of a great case, in my opinion, and one of the most difficult cases of my career. But I'm very happy that even though it was a very long journey treating this case, that we had an amazing outcome, and the outcome was the patient being content and being happy and being confident more than the award itself.
I think that it's absolutely, it must be so rewarding that not only did you, I mean, winning the competition, like you said, just sounds so secondary compared to the fact that you've actually managed to achieve something that has treated someone and improved probably their quality of life. So, again, I can't get over how practical that is and how that must feel knowing that you had an impact on another human being. And now, of course, this competition was, we've already touched on how difficult it might have been. And you were going up against like 150 dentists. So it's like, how do you meet a challenge like that? How did that make you feel?
I think the biggest challenge was self-doubt initially. When I found out about the award, talk about self-sabotage, but I mean, I didn't initially want to submit my case. I thought that I was going to be going against so many dentists with different levels of experience and expertise, especially that the topic was maxillofacial deformities, which is a very complicated and very niche part of dentistry.
Actually, just to cut you off there, I'm sorry, but could you explain a little bit more about that?
So my specific case was a case of cleft lip and palate, which is a deformity a child is born with. But my patient presented at the age of mid-40s, where she was unable to function with eating, as she really wasn't happy with the aesthetics because of the deformity she had. So we had to target multiple things. Number one, restoring oral health to this patient, then functionality, and lastly, which was very important for the patient, was the aesthetics, and that came last.
And, I understand that I don't think a lot of people really understand how much your oral health can affect as well your aesthetics. Could you give us like a little quick, I understand it's a huge topic, but if you could give us a little more of a brief explanation on how that is?
Honestly, I feel like everybody smiles in a very special, different way. In my opinion, aesthetics by the gold standard or of what a tooth of or the length of a tooth might be and width of a tooth might be doesn't really matter, because every smile has its charm. So I think the area of aesthetics can mean so many different things for different people and different professionals. But I think we should be promoting oral health, number one, and appreciating the quirks of each person's smile. But if it really bothers them, that's when we can consider aesthetic enhancements.
I think that that's a very beautiful answer, and I think you've hit the nail on the head, especially when it comes to, first of all, the priority of health. And treating aesthetics, I think we all know, play a huge role in self-confidence and even how we view ourselves and everything. But health comes first. But also knowing that you have the option for aesthetics, exactly, I think is very comforting. And I really like the message as well. Like you said, a smile is very unique. So I think we should accept more unique smiles in the world. Now, what can you tell us about your scientific contributions in terms of research and studies in this field?
Specifically in terms of the field of maxillofacial deformities, I don't have any publications in this field, but I had made sure that we had stayed up to date with the recent evidence prior to starting any treatment with this patient. However, during my time in Ireland, where I did my bachelor degree, I was very grateful that I received the Summer Undergraduate Research Award in 2018 for my contributions to the university. And then followed by that, I was an intern at Dubai Dental Hospital, where I had the privilege of working with multiple specialists in different fields and professors. And I was able to publish 2 different publications under different topics. However, only recently have I started my master's degree, so my shift in terms of research has shifted to orthodontics. So it's been a journey, not just clinically, but in terms of research, and I'm trying my best to contribute in any way or shape or form.
It's brilliant to see that, like you said, you're just about to get your master's, and yet you've already had a very intense journey through the world of dentistry. I mean, what's next? What do we expect to see next on your journey?
I think I've always seen myself within the academic field, so hopefully I'm striving towards teaching, maybe doing more research, because I feel like that's where I feel the most comfortable, or where I feel like I'm adding a lot to our scientific community and our dental community. But I also love touching patients' lives and creating a lot of relationships with patients and their families. So I always see myself in clinical practice as well. So I hope, and my goal is to kind of have a mishmash or a sweet spot of having both of those things in my day-to-day life, hopefully, inshallah.
Inshallah, and I think that that's definitely achievable, and it's always really promising to see someone who takes that approach, because especially with like the dental medical fields, like anything scientific really, you kind of need to be in the know with both the practical side of things and the theoretical, and it's really great to see as well, like you mentioned earlier, you know, you made sure that you were up to date with all the scientific literature before approaching this case, and I think that that's the approach that ideally anyone in the healthcare facility should be following, or anyone in the scientific field in general. Now, this again, you went back about you've mentioned, you know, touching patients' lives and everything. Where did that need to touch a patient's life through the world of dentistry? Where did that start for you?
I feel like I've always been a person who cares, and I think this is the most important thing. When you enter this field, number one, you don't want to do any harm. So the number one thing is do no harm. The second thing is you have to have empathy and really, truly care about patients, because it's going to truly, truly affect their lives and truly affect yours. The way to achieve a positive outcome, clinical outcome, you have to really care about this patient. And caring, I feel like it's a thing you need to nurture and to grow. So I've always been a person who likes to care and to give the patients or whoever I deal with the most I can. So, and I think this case really depended on that, because a lot of dentists would say we can't treat this case, it's way too complicated, it might take too much time, it's a year and a half of work or maybe 2 years of work to achieve a positive outcome. But if you really care, you're going to truly let your patients trust you, and that trust in that relationship results in a wonderful outcome.
Absolutely, and again, it's absolutely great to see the way that you really prioritize the patient, and, you know, treating their case. You know, I think there's a lot of discussion that things need to be treated case by case, and while I understand that practically that can be very daunting, it is great to see, you know, like I think that's where innovation in this field comes from, and it's really great to see that you've taken that to heart, and I both mean that in the figurative sense as well as the literal sense. And just before we wrap up, you know, I'm sure that there are many people, I was one of them for about a month when I was considering becoming a dentist. You know, there are loads of people out there who are looking to get into the field of dentistry. What would your advice be to them?
First of all, I think targeting self-doubt and trying to grow in that way, that you try to minimize as much as self-doubt as you can, is very important, because we're all here to learn and to grow, and it's okay to make mistakes. So just having the perseverance to go through a lot of challenges is extremely important. Number two, I've already mentioned this, which is caring for your patients. If you don't feel like you can care, maybe reconsider, because it's a type of field with medicine as well, is where you really have to truly care about your patients. And last thing is, I'm going to emphasize evidence-based dentistry. This is the only way forward. So read, be a part of any scientific literature meetings, conduct some research. Evidence-based dentistry is the only way forward. So this is my number one advice, I'd say.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. I think this has been like a really illuminating talk, and it's really, again, congratulations once again.
Thank you so much.
And, you know, I can't wait for us to see how you develop in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was a very talented Dr. Layal. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with even more personalities here on Bahrain Now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of today's episode. We hope you enjoyed the episode as much as we have. As always, be sure to reach out to us on our social media accounts shown below. We love to hear from you. This was Khalid Hidris, and until next time, good night and God bless.